I once knew a career criminal, someone attached to an organized crime syndicate, in and out of prison his whole life, an abuser of people, and a murderer. He was my father. Recently, somebody asked me what it was like to be an orphan. Now, I don't get asked that very often. I mean, hardly anyone knows that about me. But it was kind of strange. Just because I don't have family doesn't mean I'm, different than anyone else. The only time I ever think about it is around the holidays. Everything in media, TV, movies, social media is all about being with family around Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's the only time I really think about it. And yeah, it doesn't get easier, but you get used to it. You get used to being alone. We're very good at adapting. Something in our DNA. People are very good at adapting to life situations, good and bad. But there is something that bothers me. My father did to me what his father did to him. Somehow they thought that toughening up your kid required you to be tough on your kid. My father was beaten mercilessly as a child. He grew up in Palermo, Sicily, and there are records of some of the things that his father did to him. Both of them in and out of prison. His father believed that by being hard on him, by being physically tough, that he was getting him ready for the future, for being a man, for what life was going to bring him. So that's what my father did to me. When he wasn't beating on my mother, he was beating on me. Open hand, closed fist, the belt. He loved the belt. But those things were somehow supposed to make me tougher, stronger, better than the other kids. He thought he was doing something good. I realized that I was tougher than most kids. After my father was shot and killed, a year later, my mother took her own life. 2 weeks after that, my sister did the same. So I ended up an orphan. No one wanted to adopt me, so I became a homeless kid living on the streets of New York City. At 15, a nice man got me out of juvenile detention, enrolled me in high school. Now, I had never been to school before in my life, and for the most part, I didn't know anyone around my age. I didn't know any kids. When I was little, the only kids I knew were the sons of other gangsters like my father in our little tiny all-Italian neighborhood in South Bronx. And a lot of those kids were taking beatings too. But when I went to high school, I met kids my age, and I remember coming home and telling my coach, these kids are weak. They're weak. They don't know adversity. They complain and cry about everything. They're entitled. They've never done anything difficult in their life. And I'll never forget, my coach sat me down and he said, it's not that they haven't faced adversity. It's just that you have come across far more than anyone else needs to. You have been through more pain at your age than most people will ever go through in their life. And no one should have to do that. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. Now, my coach was a very nice man, and when he took me in, he changed my life completely. But it made me realize that I was tougher, like my father said I'd be. I was stronger here, stronger in mind and body. And I thrived in that environment. I was very good at sports. I was good at school. I studied hard. I liked to study. Sports. My coach got me into wrestling. I thrived in wrestling. Later on in the 2000s, I actually got invited to try out for the Olympic freestyle wrestling team. Now, I was in Iraq at the time, and the Navy really doesn't care about your personal aspirations, so I never got to go to the Olympic trials, but, getting invited was pretty cool. I did well in soccer. I had scholarships for all kinds of sports. I ran track, swam. I really thrived in individual sports. One man versus another man. I was good at that. Did that have anything to do with the way I came up? Later, I got into the Naval Academy. Now, I got rejected multiple times. Federal Academy did not want the son of a known gangster. But eventually I got in. And I struggled my first year, but I survived it. I got through it. I graduated with 2 degrees. And I survived combat missions in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I can't help but think, was my father the most horrible person I'd ever known right? Was he right? Did the way he treated me have anything to do with my future, my success? If it's true, how do I justify that in my head? How do I justify that the worst person I'd ever known, somebody who is dead and buried, and I'm happy about that? How do I justify that maybe this devil of a human was right? Did my father did he make me tougher? Did he make me stronger? Did he make me better? Am I successful today because of him?